Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Boutwell at PerfectGardens.com. So today I'm going to be building a grow bed for my baby carrots. And this grow bed isn't just going to be for my baby carrots, but it's also going to be for some structural integrity for my patio greenhouse I put together this year. These grow beds are going to be nothing fancy. All I did was go to my wood pile, grab a few things that I know I needed. For example, these baby carrots, they're not going to be getting much larger than about 3 to 4 inches. So my grow bed doesn't need to be much bigger than about 6 inches in depth, maybe 7 max. So just taking into consideration what these baby carrots are needed, I'm going to be able to go and find the resources around my house, a little bit of wood, some screws, a screw gun, some Panda film to help create a liner for my grow bed. And before you know it, I'm going to have my baby carrots planted in the ground and growing for this season. So today I'm going to be building my own grow beds for my baby carrots. And I don't have the right size pots laying around, and I don't want to spend money right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build my own planter bed and make sure it has everything it needs so that these baby carrots have what they need to grow properly. So as you can see, this pot right here is about the ideal size these carrots need. These carrots don't grow much more than about 3 or 4 inches, and so that's about this size. I would like it as maybe about 6 inches, 7 inches max, because that's all they need. If they grow about 3 inches, they don't need an additional 3 inches. They might need 2 more inches max to grow properly, and you're going to be able to get a really great harvest. I actually found some old splintery weathered out wood, and I'm going to use my Panda paper, some screws, my screw gun, a saw to make my own planter beds for my little finger carrots, for my little daughter Sage, all for free. I bought all this stuff a year ago, 2 years ago, and I just saved it, and I plan to reuse it, and I'm happy that I'm now using it to grow fruits and vegetables in this time of crisis and uncertainty. And see how I strategically put my baby carrots in my grow bed into my greenhouse so it creates more structural integrity and uses up all the dead space in areas that aren't going to have a lot of light this year. They're about 5.5 to 6 inches in depth. These baby carrots are going to get about 3 to 3.5 inches, so they're going to have an additional 2 inches of growing space. I'm going to make sure to level off my soil completely all the way to the top. I put a couple holes on the bottom for drainage, and I'm going to actually end up stacking these planter beds in a very strategic place in my greenhouse behind me to help create a little bit more stability in the structure. So go ahead and check out the next videos to see how I do that. And I hope you enjoyed seeing how I turned a bunch of old wood that was just laying around weathered into a grow bed ready to grow food for my family for free with just a whole bunch of tools and equipment that I already had laying around. Okay, so as you could see what I did, first thing I did was figure out how many grow beds I can do by measuring out all the wood I had. Then after I figure out how many planters I could make, I then cut all my wood to the precise measurement. Then what I did was I grabbed Panda film. Panda film is absolutely amazing because it's just like having a planter, except that I can mold it into whatever I needed it. So what I ended up doing through this process was after cutting the wood down, I ended up laying out the wood, and then I laid the Panda paper over it. I cut off the Panda paper of how much I would need to make my planter, and then I stapled the Panda paper inside of the wood before I even screwed it together, which helped it come together a little bit nicer. Then what I did was I folded the first wood before there was even any screws back on itself, and just kind of like a present, I ended up just folding it the sides nicely and folding the sides on itself and stapling it before I even put the screw in. Then what I did was I folded the plastic on itself. I kind of pinched the plastic in between these spots to kind of help the plastic stay nice and tight and cinch down. Then I pre-drilled my screws because the wood is kind of old, so I didn't want it to splinter or crack any further. Then I folded it back on itself and I screwed down my wood. And I turned it around and I repeated the same process where I folded the wood before I screwed it down. I stapled it to the inside and the outside, made it nice. I folded it, I screwed it down, and then on the ends, I ended up repeating the same process. So before the end was on it, I actually turned the plastic and I cinched it down on the side. Then I put the wood over it. I pre-drilled it, screwed it down. Then once again, I folded the plastic over the top. And once again, I put the flaps down like if I was making a present, like if I was wrapping a present for a Christmas tree. And then I repeated the same process on opposite side. Then I grabbed a whatever size drill bit I had, whether it was a 1/2 inch drill bit or the one right on the lower size, and I made a few holes for drainage. And as you could see, this planter that comes from the store, it has 1 hole for drainage. I have 5, so this is going to be more than enough. This plastic's also going to help my hand, so I'm not going to get splinters. And in the next video, I'm going to show you what type of soil I use for my grow beds and what I use to plant all of my vegetables in. Thank you so much, and have a great grow.